Hey, how's it going, guys? DLegend here. Today we are going to be doing a video on raiding and how to get the most lux from raiding, and just raid setups in general and the benefits of raiding. So before I start this video, I just want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel for more Kingdom Hearts Union Cross content, and hit the notification bell, by the way, while you're at it, so you never miss an upload from me. I would really appreciate if you guys would like and comment on this video as well. It just helps the YouTube algorithm and just gets my videos out to more people that might be interested in my videos. Anyways, let's talk about raiding and the importance of raiding. So raiding, number one, you gain levels, which is hugely important, like I talked about in my last video, on my tips and tricks video, and why leveling up is important. Obviously leveling up is important. Quick refresher, just because you do get passive abilities, but you also get some jewels from the every 50 levels that you level up. So I have saved up these 4 boards here. That's 5,000 jewels a board, which is 20,000 jewels in total from 150 levels of, or 200 levels of raiding, basically. So that's number one. Another thing is the passives. Just a quick refresher. Passives are really important, and you get them from raiding and gaining lux levels. So somebody that is level 800 is going to have way better passives than me, because I'm only level 670. But somebody that's level 300 won't have as many passives as me either. So let's go ahead and look at weekly lux. Okay, so Angel is my party's top raider. She's been the best raider in Ursus for a very long time, or one of the very best. So shout out to you, Angel. I just want to show you guys her passive abilities. She has insane passives because, number one, your Keyblade levels, but also your lux levels. So this is one reason why it's really important to raid, just for the passive abilities. So you can compare that to mine really quick here. And so there you have it, guys. That's a lot of difference between our general strength. And she is level 826 for reference. The other thing that is really a benefit of raiding is getting jewels during deluxe ranking weeks. So if we go into rankings, you'll actually see the rewards for party rankings as well as individual rankings. So top 10 parties in every union, doesn't matter where you are, Volpes, Ursus, Unicornus, etc. You can get 3,000 jewels for being the top 10 parties, which is pretty sweet. And then it goes down to 2,000 for top 25, 1,000 for top 50, and so on and so forth. So make sure you guys are raiding for this purpose. But additionally, you actually get some rewards for solo ranks as well. So even if your party doesn't rank very well, you'll actually get some decent rewards from your solo ranking as well. So top 10 get 30 gems of each color and a title. And then it just keeps going down from there. So top 50, top 100, so on and so forth. I'm usually top 100 in Ursus, in all honesty. Sometimes top 50. Don't really push for top 50 anymore. Like, there's no real point. You get a title regardless. I don't even raid for the title. I raid just to help my party maintain top 10, and we're there always. So that's number one, guys. That is the benefits of raiding. So next up, we're going to be talking about raid setups. So if we go into this here, actually it doesn't really matter where you go, but I'll show you guys my personal raid setups. So let's break down setups in general. So setups in general need a buffer medal to get yourself maximum buffs. So there's general strength buffs, PSM buffs, which stand for power, speed, and magic. You also need your upright and reverse buffs, and that is it. And then you can obviously debuff the enemy for the exact same things that I just mentioned. So upright, reverse, general, and PSM. So those are really important things to consider. First and foremost, most medals nowadays will have buffs for themselves. So you don't need a designated buffer medal per se. But Terra here does increase your general strength, upright, and power-based strength by 15 tiers, which is the max you can get. And also decreases target's defense, general defense, upright, and power defense by 15, which is literally all you need for a power-based setup, if they're all upright medals, obviously. So you can use him as your main buffer medal at the front of your Keyblade to maximize your setup damage output. But also, Nominate is another really good option because she covers everything across the board. She buffs all attribute strength, and then obviously general and upright and reverse strength as well, and then debuffs the enemy for everything as well for 15 tiers. So if you guys have a copy of Nominate and you don't have a good medal just to start your raid setup with, I would suggest putting Nominate in the front there and then going from there. But basically, raid setups are, so the top, I don't know how to explain this, guys. There's so much to talk about, but top raiders and top players in every union will have the best setups for the raid boss. So this week's raid boss is a speed-based raid boss, so you're going to have a power-based setup if you want to absolutely destroy the raid boss fast, and also just be able to maintain top lux. So this is Angel's raid setup, and I just want to show you guys how insane it is. She's got damage and raids on every single medal, 100% as the special pet trait for most of these medals. Not most of them, a decent chunk of them though. So this is, oh my gosh, this is insane, guys. Absolutely bonkers. And I think she told me she takes 4 medals to kill the boss, so she only gets up to this Sephiroth, and then she destroys the boss, so that's pretty sweet. But obviously not everybody's going to have a setup like this. So if you go ahead and let's go look at Speedy's setup here. I don't know if he actually has his raid setup on. So this is his raid setup. He actually buffs himself up with Nominate here first. And then he goes with KHUx 22, Lingering Will, Cloud Dissidia, and then Timeless River Mickey. So that's just another option, guys, to show you guys how to build a setup. So obviously you're going to need your buffer, like I said, and then you're going to go ahead and stack your medals with raid traits. So raid traits are massively important. I don't have perfect traits for any of these medals except for KHUx 22 basically, and Timeless River Mickey. Don't even have a good pet trait for him yet, but I will hopefully get a good pet trait for him in the near future. But yeah, suggestions for raid setups, guys. Obviously, the right PSM color against the raid boss. So this week's speed is a speed raid boss. So if you go ahead and use a power setup, you're going to be doing quite a bit of damage compared to using a magic-based setup, because magic is not strong against speed. But this is my magic setup. I only have 2 raid setups, guys, and until this week, I only had 1. This is my magic setup and the setup that I use for most weeks until this week. I do have pretty good raid traits for most of these medals, but KHUx 19 is definitely outdated at this point. That multiplier is not very good, and his general strength is just not very good either. I do have some Sora and Riku here, also not a very great raid medal nowadays, but I do have, the only medal I have with 100% damage in raids is this medal. I also have Supernova plus Ava, and KHUx 22 is my pet slot medal. So yeah, so number 1, try to have a setup with the right PSM color, but if you can't do that, just focus on one setup, guys. Literally focus on one setup. I've used the counterpoint setup for the longest time, for like probably the past 8 to 10 months worth of raiding. I don't know exactly how long, but it's been a very long time with that setup. I finally decided to upgrade, and this is my weird setup now. I do have Lingering Will here, copying Nominate, and this goes into Terra. I don't use Supernova for any of these medals except for Nominate, and I will talk about that in a second here. And then I do have Timeless River Mickey here. So I actually skip the 4 slot in this setup, and it gets the boss killed within this 1 turn, so that's awesome. If you guys don't have a medal that fits here properly, like for me, I don't have a power medal that has a Lux skill, that is a Lux plus skill. So the other thing that's really important is to have Lux plus skills. They maximize your Lux completely compared to just a Lux plus skill or a regular skill. So if you have no, sorry, the video cut off because I lost memory, but basically if you have a medal without a Lux plus skill, so if you just have a regular attack boost max or an attack boost max gauge 1 skill, you're not going to gain the maximum amount of Lux that you can possibly gain. So that's really important to mention. Another suggestion that I have for you guys, by the way, is just to have medals that do damage, that ignore target's attributes as their special attack to be raid medals, because these medals are amazing against any setup. So I know a lot of my old party members just have purely KHUx 22 setups as their raid setups. When this banner was out, they just got like 4-ish copies of this medal, and they're actually able to use this medal consistently as their raid setup medal and on their Fenrir. So they have like Nominate here and then like 4 KHUx 22s, and then on their pet slot they just throw in whatever because they're gonna kill it within the KHUx 22s. So that's another suggestion. Timeless River Mickey is a really good option for that. We all got 2 copies of it. If you guys have traits for him, make sure you guys try to make one a raid copy, if not both of them. If you want to start a Sleeping Lion setup with this particular medal, you can go ahead and use Timeless River Mickey as 2 of your main raid medals. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. And these raid medals will last a very long time if you do have medals that ignore target's attributes. So Yensid is another option other than Timeless River Mickey. But next up, let's go ahead and talk about what else do we have to talk about? Yeah, so obviously raid traits are hugely important, but let's go into an actual raid boss and talk about how to group raid. So a lot of you guys probably don't know how to do this, but essentially you go ahead and spawn a boss. Let's go ahead and spawn one. And then after this, once you have a boss spawned, normally people will just go in and start killing it, right? Even during raid hours. That's not the right way to do this. If you guys have a party that actually does raid, aside from just you, make sure you guys request support. So requesting support is as simple as this. You enter the raid boss, you hit the options button, you hit give up. That right there will send a notification to all your party members unless they have notifications turned off. And then it says a support request was sent out to other players. So that means players in your party. That means everybody has access to this raid boss now. So if you guys are if you're trying to group raid, make sure you try to coordinate with your party when you're going to be group raiding. So my party only group raids 1 hour out of the 4 hours during raid week. So there's there's only 4 raid hours during raid week. It's going to be, so the one we do is 2 p.m. PST, so Pacific Standard Time. That's the equivalent to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think. Wait. Yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so that's 3 p.m. for me. And then the next raid hour for me is 9 p.m. So that's 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then it just keeps going on from there. So every 6 hours there is a raid hour where you get double deluxe. Right now is not one of them, so you don't see double deluxe or anything like that. And 0 AP for raid bosses. But yeah, so this boss is shared now. Let's go in and kill it. So, okay, oh no. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's exit this boss real quick. But just like another thing there is if you actually deal damage to the raid boss and you don't manage to kill it, you actually send a support request to all your other party members. Make sure you guys are requesting support before you even deal damage to it so that you can maximize the Lux gains for every single party member. Next up, let's talk about using Supernova. So a lot of people say not to use Supernova when raiding because you're going to lose Lux and stuff. But if you actually go ahead and pop a Supernova medal that doesn't actually increase your, like it doesn't buff you up at all, other than just your general strength, like Namne, it doesn't deal any damage to a boss. So it literally dealt 1 damage there, and that doesn't mess up your Lux gains whatsoever. I can even go ahead and pop Lingering Will here, and it does 1 damage, and then we can start attacking, because that buffs up our strength for these medals that we use in the setup. And that means we can kill this boss a lot faster. So we'll let this run through. And yeah, that's basically it. But aside from that, guys, make sure you guys are coordinating with your party, because if you have a bunch of raid bosses, which one do you pick to kill first? The simple answer is just to kill the one that has the least time left on its timer. So let's spawn a boss here real quick, and then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Yeah, so let's say your boss that you've requested support for has 19 minutes and 30 seconds left. Let's just say that. And then the boss that your party member spawned has 19 minutes left. You're going to go ahead and kill the boss with 19 minutes left, and then you're just going to keep going down the list. So if there was a raid support for another party member right now, for another boss, their boss would actually have let's just say their boss had 19 minutes left on the clock. So we would kill that boss first, and then the boss under that one would have a higher timer. So that one might have like 19, 20 seconds or so. So we go just basically kill the boss that has the lowest timer left. Simple as that. Aside from that, the last tip I have for you guys is to make sure you guys use your Lux Boost effectively. So as a party, we've decided to go ahead and use our Lux Boost at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so that means everybody hits their Lux Boost at that time, or tries to do their best to hit their Lux Boost at that time. And so we usually get like 150, not 150%, but that's a max you can get with 30 party members. We actually hit usually like 130%, I'd say on average, which isn't bad. Can definitely use a bit of improvement, but not bad at all. I know a lot of parties literally have like 5 or 10% boost during raid hours, so that's another thing, guys. Make sure you guys are planning with your party to boost at a certain time. If you guys don't want to use this stupid party chat here within the game, go ahead and use Discord or Line or any other messaging app for gaming, or even Facebook Messenger. I know a lot of people do that for their parties. So honestly, anything you guys decide will definitely help your party to coordinate your Lux Boosts and to spawn bosses for your party. It's just really important to make sure you guys spawn bosses consistently. So once your boss goes down, you spawn another one, and then you share it with the party. Yeah, aside from that, guys, I don't really have a lot to say. Make sure you guys take advantage of your Lux hours. So yeah, do that, and hopefully you guys manage to get a decent ranking in solo as well as party rankings. Hopefully this video made some sense and was helpful to some of you guys. I know I kind of blabbed on a lot, and I kind of lost track of what I was saying, to be honest with you. But that's basically the gist of it, and the gist of raiding. Make sure you guys are raiding so you get some good rewards. And yeah, to sum it up, raiding is worth it. Obviously, not everybody can raid all the time for every single hour of raid week. But I suggest raiding like 1 hour of every day if you can. If you can't sacrifice 1 hour, then just do an hour every like few days during raid week, as much as you can. And yeah, my party is actually full right now, but if you guys are interested in joining my party in the near future, if we ever kick a party member or if a party member leaves, then let me know in the comments below, and we will do our best to get you into my party. Anyways, I will catch you all soon, guys. Hopefully that you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Kingdom Hearts Union Cross content. Peace out, guys.